what do you have written on that whiteboard? What's on there? I'm just curious.
So I have my clients and then what projects I'm working on. So I've got one client and the 3 properties and the amounts. I don't know if I want to say the amounts. Do you want me to say the amounts?
Hey, you say the amounts. I'm sure that's fine. You don't have to name the properties, but you can say the amounts. Sure, that's not gonna.
35 million, 116 million, 78 million, 400,000, 304,000. I've just got some follow-up stuff I've got to do on it too.
Okay.
Got some SBAs up there. I've got a couple of brokers that I'm working other smaller deals with. There's no dollar amounts, but they're just some stuff pending that I've got to kind of follow up on and
Sure.
see. Yep.
Okay.
So that's
All
what
right.
I have. And then I have another sign over here.
What's that say?
Everybody wants to eat. Few are willing to hunt.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. You know, people always say, Kris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance, where we explore the daily lives of graduates, employees, and everybody else in between. And I guess I can say this episode is 3rd time's a charm. I am very proud to interview Bill and Jared of Masters Commercial Capital. Hey, guys.
How we doing?
Hi,
We're
Kris.
doing good for the 3rd time. This is the 3rd. I think
Right.
you're the only guys that made it to the 3rd time.
Right. Wow.
Well, we have an initiative where we're trying to do, we're trying to follow up with past graduates and just track the progress of time. Right. We've done 2nd interviews, but this will be the one of the first ones for the end of the year and into the new year for the 3rd time. So I welcome you guys back a 3rd time. I'm happy you guys wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely.
All right. So, guys, let's just revisit some things. So, you had attended CCTG in what month?
I was June of 20.
It was May of 20.
May
May
of 20.
May of 20?
21.
21.
21.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
May of 21. See that?
Yeah,
It's been
and that was an online, so it was all virtual.
correct.
That's right. So we were Jared and I
Original.
were together for that. Yep.
Right. And then you came back.
Yeah, we came back for the what was it? It was for Joe's marketing segment.
That's correct.
His marketing. So we came up for that, and we met Sonny because he was still there. He had just finished class. So we had the 2 days or so in Albany of the enhanced marketing that Joe put out for us, and we loved it. And then we did the podcast right after that.
That's correct. Yep, we did a podcast after that, and you purchased was it the platinum or the legacy package?
We were legacy
Package. So then we did an interview with you, right shortly after that class ended, and now here and then we did another interview. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah. We did a 6-month follow-up.
6-month follow-up.
That's right.
And now here we are. I know I saw you guys at NACLB.
Yep.
You know, briefly, that was a crazy couple of days, but we made it through. And here you are today. So how have things progressed since 2021? I mean, take me through maybe a timeline, and we can talk about each of those steps. But take me through an overall timeline from you started class to now. How's your business progressed?
I'll take the reins here. So I think the 6 months when we checked in, we had already a couple of deals under our belts. I think I had at least a cash out refi on my belt. Jared had a couple deals that he was dealing with. And we made it a point. We knew that networking was going to be a big part of our success. So we shared with you the fact that we had joined a few groups, a lot of chamber conferences and whatnot, and we attend whatever we can as far as getting our name out there. And it's worked out in a sense for sure, because we've built some relationships with people who are simply giving us deals. So we've had success there. We've closed a few more deals. Nothing like hugely large amount of deals, but we're still enough to keep us alive. And so we've had success, but we've learned in the process. We've learned a lot because, as you know, Kris, there's so much to learn in this business. It's not like, you can just take a week's class and know everything. You can't,
Right.
Even if you've been in the finance business before. If anything, I can say that we've learned a lot in the past year. We've closed some deals. We certainly would love to close more. I'm going to share with you the fact that I've had success at least getting a couple of LOIs signed with your prime large balance funding deals that you put out. So I have, I'm literally right now, Kris, I'm in the process just waiting to hear back from Scott and Canny on my Tucson deal. It's a $40 million deal. We're literally just waiting for the commitment to fund. I was just talking to Scott DeBurdinis about it just a little while ago. Like, Scott, did you hear anything yet? And I know you guys are real busy right now. Like you guys are flat out, which is fantastic. Right. Certainly if a couple of those deals land, we're certainly going to be very happy about that. But the beat goes on. We're actively out there trying to secure business. I was on the phone this morning with a couple of residential mortgage brokers who hand me some deals when it comes to commercial, and they've got more to give me. So excited there. I know Jared's working on it. He can share with you what's going on with him, but he's working on some lines of credit. He's been talking with Bennett in the last few weeks, and he's got a couple of larger deals that he's trying to close soon. But the end all be all is, the beat goes on. We're still trudging along, and we're doing good.
Yeah, you're doing good. And but one of the things I wanted to ask you folks is, how have your roles changed? I know you guys came into this as a partnership, but have they changed in terms of what each of you have done, or have you found that has changed, or since the beginning of the company?
Well, I'll take this one, Bill. Excuse me. I think, Bill's had some success with some of the larger real estate deals, so I think he's moving towards that more or less.
Right.
I've done some SBA and some working capital lines of credit. So I've done a couple SBA gas stations, and I've got a couple of deals I'm trying to put together for some hotels. And I've got about a dozen working capital lines of credit right now that I'm working through the process right now to get these people funded. So I've kind of taken on some of that stuff, and
Right.
It's good to have that stuff as well, because a lot of that is it's residuals. You know what I mean? Because you're getting that the MCAs or a line of credits. Every time they pull, we get compensated on it. So
Yeah.
and that gives Billy some freed up time to go do some of the larger deal real estate
Right.
projects.
So it sounds like you're more business loans. You've kind of taken the role of more business loans,
Yeah.
especially some of the short-term turnaround ones, and focusing.
Yeah.
on real estate.
Yeah, I'll still do some bridge loans on some real estate stuff and everything else, but for the most part, I think we almost just kind of fell into it. And I don't have a problem as long as the deals are coming in. I don't care who does them, But that's kind of the way we kind of separated it up.
It's kind of worked out good too, because whatever leads we have coming in
Yep.
from whatever source,
Yep.
we simply share them. It's going to be like, all right, you take this one, and I'll take the next one. And,
Right.
and it's worked out fine. Fortunately, and we joked about it in probably the past podcast, but Jared and I, we get along well. And I don't see that changing in the near future. We just seem to have a synergy that is just, that works for us.
Right.
So we'll just continue to kind of do it that way,
And how do you guys how do you guys, I would say, correspond with each other? Do you have a meeting every day? Do you get on a call every day, or is it once a week? I'm just curious. Maybe probably our viewers are curious. How do you guys?
Yeah. So it's usually once a week. We will kind of get together, and sometimes it's more than that, Kris. But it's funny because we'll have lunch together every day, and we'll talk about deals that we're going through with, and
So you live in the same area? You guys live in the same area? I forgot.
Yeah. So that's a story within itself. So when we first started, when we knew we were going to do this, we finished class. We decided that we were going to need an office. Okay. I'm the type of person that needs to go to an office. I really can't work at home. And Jared's the same way. Okay. So he was living in a town called Vernon, which is about an hour away from me. I live in Canton. So it's really, Connecticut's small, but it's on the other side of the state from each other. Right. So we got an office in West Hartford, Connecticut, because it was smack dab in the middle of both of us. But funny enough, the real estate market was going wild. It was like the rent was going to double. Okay. When we were coming up on 1 year, we're like, forget this. Okay. We looked for some real estate. We're going to buy a building. We ended up buying a building through the business in New Hartford, Connecticut, which is really close to where I live. Okay. It's like a mile away, Chris. Okay. But it was a fantastic commercial building, 2 floors. We already had a tenant lined up. She was a doctor that needed a space. She loved the building. She knew about the building because she lived in New Hartford. So she contacted us even before we bought it, and we were negotiating with the real estate agent. We ended up buying it. She signed the lease like a week later, a 5-year lease.
Wow.
So we're up on the 2nd floor. So he's like Jared right now, literally is down the hall in his office. I'm in mine.
All right.
So that was our plan.
My door's locked though. So
Well, and it it looks like it looks like your room is a little brighter, right?
well, it speaks for itself.
Jared likes the light. I like it a little darker. That's just the way.
Maybe Bill's doing more work. He's got a lot of stuff on that whiteboard over there.
Yeah.
Behind you, Jared.
My whiteboard's in a separate room.
Yeah, all right.
That's
Jared has the suite, trust me. But getting back to the point, Chris, we spend a lot of time together. We're committed to this business. We want to make it work. We're making it work. We're determined. We have a strong desire. And I think that's going to see us through. We're not getting every deal that's thrown at us. You know the nature of the business, Chris.
Sure.
You stated that in the class. You're like, I mean, if I got every deal that came at me, we'd obviously be very happy. But it's part of the learning process too. I've learned so much by getting denied. It's just, but that's the way it goes, and that's the way it'll continue to be. We celebrate the wins and we kind of commiserate on the losses.
Learn from the losses. Yeah.
right.
No, understood. And so I saw you guys at our conference that just took place in early November. What was that was your first time there? Is that correct or no? Second time?
No, second time. Yep.
Okay. I mean, what was your takeaway from that conference?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the breakout sessions I thought were great. And it's funny, when the first time we went, we had just been in business for a couple of months. So it's like one of those things where you just kind of go in and it's, you still feel like you're getting a drink of water from a fire hose. It's just getting, slammed at you. Right. So this year, after, having some time under our belt and kind of finding out, who we want to go to for certain deals. I mean, we have so many lenders available to us, but you have to really kind of pare that down to people that you have a good relationship with and that you can deal with, and they know when you give them something that it's serious, and you can kind of work back and forth on it. And it was good to see some of those people that we've dealt with over the phone and through email and everything else. And also, it was just you get a lot more out of it because you're looking for certain things that you didn't know you needed the first time. You know what I mean? So this time we went through and we knew kind of where our shortfall was, or some of the things we needed to know a little bit more about, and some of our strengths. We figured we'd work on some of the things that we're a little weaker on. So I thought it was good. I thought the conference was great. It couldn't have been better, actually. So I think we both got a lot out of it. So it was good.
Well put. I mean, I was able to hone in a little bit more on and focus on what I really wanted to kind of, I searched out lenders a little bit better. I was able to ask questions that were a little bit more focused. But the bottom line is you guys do a great job.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you do a great job. The breakout sessions, you can't make all of them. So, it's a great thing that you guys did and putting them online so that you can go and refer to pretty much everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's why we do it. That's why we do it. But I was just curious of your perspective, being relatively new. I mean, you've been in this now for, approaching 2 years, I should say, but good. I'm glad it was our largest to date. So
it was great.
I still consider myself new, without a doubt.
Right. So what are your plans? I mean, it's the end of the year. What are your plans for 2023? Your goals?
Well, I know my goals. My goals are to build on the large balance deals I have submitted so far.
Okay.
I have 3 submitted now. I'd like to close all of them. That might not be a reality. We're extremely close on Tucson, extremely. But I also have some more in the pipeline. I personally love this product that you guys are putting out. I think it's the information you put. It's an easy loan to follow. Okay, line of credit. It's easy. It's easy to follow. And as long as the people are able to get you what you need when you need it, it usually will go smoothly.
Yeah.
But I want to build on that. I've got some in the pipeline right now that aren't submitted yet to you guys, but they're large. I'm going down, Jared and I are going Thursday to look at another property in New Milford, Connecticut. It's a ground up construction of about 50 units. Or no, it's more than that. It's 100 and something units. And we're going to be submitting a submission form, an intake form, hopefully next week, if not this week. That's a $50 million deal.
Yeah.
My plans are to build on that product, as well as secure all the other deals that I'm working on and submitting to Scott.
Sure. Yeah.
And by the way,
Let the
Scott,
record show. I didn't pay you to say that.
No, you didn't pay me to say that. And no one paid me to say this either, but Scott Diaberdinitis, he's the man, dude. Like he's great. We enjoy working with him. He's dialed in. He's full of knowledge. So he did not pay me to say that.
And we won't tell him you said that.
Right.
No, I appreciate it. No, we have, I'm not going to thank you. They can thank you if they hear this. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. We're lucky to have him. We're lucky to have him for sure. As our guy,
So, real estate, sounds like real estate is focused. Do you guys have anybody else working for you, or do you plan to hire additional people in the next year?
Jared, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a couple of people we're interested in as far as 1099s. One guy to kind of come in and just kind of handle equipment financing because he has a background in that. And then we have a couple other people. Actually, my son is going to take the class in December. He's going to take it online because he's living out in LA right now. Okay. But he's sent me some leads and some deals, and he's just gotten more and more into it. He's got a lot of other stuff going on, but he wants to do this as well because he sees it as a pretty viable way to make some extra cash. So he'll be taking the class. I think it's December 12th through the 17th. And looking forward to bringing him on board too. So, and we have a few other people. Billy's got a few friends that are interested. So we're going to be, we're bringing them in as 1099s, and we have all different types of commission splits depending on who brings in the deal and who, if it's a lead or if they bring it in themselves or whatever. But
sure,
we're looking to grow. 2023 should be a really good year. I think we've got a lot of stuff in the hopper, and we've learned a lot over the last year. So it's just a matter of putting all that to use, and Billy going forward with his his large balance deals, and me getting a lot more of the working capital and SBA loans, plus some of the other leads. And like I said, we bring in a working capital, equipment finance guy. I think that's going to just give us a whole other alley to make some money.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it sounds like, you're at least looking to increase deal generation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. Yeah.
It is important. What do each of your days, let me just, because our people always want to know, what do each of your days consist of now? Like, take me through a 9 to 5. Are you doing more biz development? Are you doing more, paperwork? Are you doing more, what are you guys doing? Networking in terms of just an average day for each of you?
Depends on the day, because we have a couple of BNI networks that we're involved, the business networks, and there may be it may be in the morning. We have some that are at night. So we'll hit one of those. We probably do those at least once a week or so, whether it's in the morning or at night or whatever. Then we have some chamber deals that we go to on a regular basis, just to kind of meet up with people and just get our name out there, find out, exchange leads. You give leads, you get leads. That's the kind of the way it goes. So we're trying to establish ourselves that way. But also the main focus of the day is really finding lenders. I mean, I got a lot of deals. I got about 15 deals I'm working on right now. And, it's a matter of just shopping them around to the right people, getting the paperwork from the borrower in a timely fashion. And actually, a lot of it is, I think we finally kind of ironed a lot of this out. But early on, it's, who's real and who's not. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people come to you for money. Then as soon as you start asking questions, they disappear on you. And same thing with some lenders. I mean, you go to some lenders and everything looks pretty good, and all of a sudden they disappear on you. So you got to find out, who can you do business with, who's going to close loans, and what people are real coming to you, and you try to shorten the dance as much as possible, because it takes a while to get the process going anyway. So to find out if they're real and serious, we ask just a lot of questions up front.
And that's, I mean, that in itself, I think, is part of the learning curve. Correct me if I'm
Absolutely.
wrong, coming to
Absolutely.
this, because that skill gets more refined as the longer
Yep.
you're in business. So you can kind of like shift through all the bullshit,
Right.
cut to the chase, and you guys are, that's part of your growing pains. I think anybody's growing pains, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And once you, like I say, we've got hundreds of lenders that we can deal on, but, we may get it down to a couple dozen here and there for different things.
Sure.
And the people that are most responsive and get deals done, those are the ones you're going to go to more often, because everybody nobody likes to take a month to get something done and then have it fall apart,
Yeah.
So, because it's just a lot of time wasted and that. I'm not a time
And
waster.
I think everyone in this business knows, and Kris, there's a lot of highs and lows.
Mhm.
There's a lot of highs when you win a deal, and then there's some lows when it just doesn't pan out. I've had some deals where we literally get to the finish line, and the people decide to just back out. It might not be enough money or whatever reason it is.
Yeah, it could be 1,000 reasons. Yeah,
Absolutely.
how this is.
It stings, and you let it sting for a couple of days, and then you get back at it.
Right.
But I've had some success just calling people back. For one example, it's amazing in a year how many files that I put together on each deal, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if I have any downtime, I will literally go back and just call people. And I had one deal, and I'm working on it to this day, that I'll be submitting with you guys. But it was a callback to a client that had just gone dead. It was a deal his investor pulled out. And I called him just to check in on him. And don't you know, I have a deal that's going to be submitted to you guys now, just because I called him back. If I didn't call him back and just check in, I wouldn't even have it.
Nothing would have
So,
happened. Wow.
The little things, maybe it's a little luck or whatever, but those are the little things you have to do if you want to succeed. I mean, it's easy to do nothing.
Well, it is, and I think a lot of people struggle with the fact that when you get a deal in the door, or when you get a lead, and then the lead is just not quite the fit at that present time, they just throw it away. You know what I mean? Or they don't file it somewhere, and maybe that opportunity that an investor had didn't pan out, but they're not gonna. Maybe they forgot about you, and 6, 7, 8 months or 12 months later, you call that person up and say, "Hey, our first round didn't work out, but I want to know if you have anything else. Can we help you with it?"
Right.
Some people just take the lead and discount it, and it didn't work the first time.
Yeah, and I think that's normal to do, right? Because
Right.
you want to be able to get immediate answers and start working on stuff, and so that's normal to do. But if you can turn that around, like you said, and follow up, you never know.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's you don't know. I love that you share that example. I mean, that I think a lot of our folks don't do enough of that, to be honest with you. They they
maybe not, but I will tell you it works. It worked for me. I'm not saying I'm doing something great. It happened to work out, and I will continue to do that. So, if I can share that with everyone else to help them succeed, absolutely.
That's good. That's good. Let me ask you, I think this is a really, perhaps one of the most important questions I wanted to ask you all. At this point in this business, is there something that, you would want to tell yourselves 6 months into the business where you're at now, if you could go back and tell yourselves that, something that you learned from, what would that be?
Ask that question again.
So, if you can go back and tell both of you 6 months into this business, right? So your first 6 months, that if you can go back to that time and tell yourself something, right? Like you come from the future and say, hey, make sure you do this or watch out for this. What would that be now that you've been in the business for, almost 2 years? What would you tell your
I would say be patient. You're going to have to, it's going to take a lot of work, but you got to be patient and also be patient with the deals. I think early on, I would get a deal come across my desk and I would right away try to send it out to some lenders before I really even understood what the deal was. You know what I mean? You've got to understand the deal before you start. So take a breath, take a pause, take a day, go over the deal because you may have some questions. Get all your questions answered, then present it to your lender. It's going to make it a lot easier for everybody. That to me is one of the things that I think just not rushing. Just be patient. It's going to happen. Everybody wants the money tomorrow until they got to provide you with documents. Then all of a sudden it can wait. But just be patient. Get the knowledge on the deal before you present it, and it just makes it go that much smoother.
That's actually good, Jared. I would say,
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. I would say, don't worry about what you don't know. That's what I would say.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one.
Don't worry about what you don't know because you're going to be able to get the answer. I mean, let's use you guys for an example. All right, we came through CCTG. All right, we learned everything we could in a week, and I certainly didn't know everything, but you guys do. I mean, Scott D or you or whoever else. You got over 100 years of experience in this business. I can call you guys and find out.
Right.
Because a phone call away. So I would tell myself that. Don't worry about what you don't know. And I would enhance that by saying, this business really is about relationships. Okay. It really is. You have to build relationships and you're going to get repeat business from people if they like you and they trust you. I'm dealing with another broker that I mentioned before, sharing deals. That guy knows a lot of stuff and he's a numbers guy. So he'll make my head spin and he'll ask me a question. I'm like, I'll get through the answer. And I think sometimes I'm thinking to myself, this guy he knows I don't know shit about this business. Right. But it doesn't matter because I built a relationship with him in other business situations that he keeps coming back to me. And in the same time, I'm building experience, and I close deals for him.
Right.
So he knows I'm going to get the job done. I had one deal, and I'm going to mention it. It was an RCN deal.
Okay.
I used RCN. It was a fix and flip, and the client. Oh my gosh, the poor woman. She's taking her time and getting us information, and she was dragging it out. And we got to the 1 yard line, and RCN just needed a little bit more cash. And the deal was basically dead. Okay. The broker was kind of, his name is Mike. He's like, just Bill, I know you tried hard. I know you did everything you could. Don't worry about it. We'll get the next one. I said, no, Mike, I'm still going to get this one. So I called the client. It was a 2-hour conversation. She ended up getting more money, borrowing it from like a friend of hers to get the deal done. We closed the next day and I was a hero to him.
Yeah.
And to her and to me,
right.
He goes to me every time now because he knows I'm going to work hard to get the deal done. You have to have that tenacity. And if you don't have that in this business, you might not do well. I don't know. I mean, some people have dumb luck. Great. But dumb luck's not going to get you through every deal. Yeah,
no. You got to have that tenacity. That's a kind of never quit attitude. That's a great story. Great story. So yeah, I mean, so it sounds like, and you couldn't have said it better. I mean, right. This business is about relationships. I'm glad, you said that it is. I mean, at some point, even doesn't matter where you get leads from, you got to still build a relationship no matter what outlet the lead comes from. And that can cultivate and, pay you 2-3 times over a course of period.
You have to, and you have to get your name out there. You have to do whatever you have to do to succeed. You just can't sit back. It's not going to work. You might as well just go get another job.
Well, and mindset too. I mean, I remember each time I spoke to you guys, the first time, second time, the mindset was always, you guys have the right mindset, and then you got to translate that mindset into action, right? But you guys, you guys always have had the right mindset, and it's paid off clearly.
Well, thank you. I think so. We still continue to have to work at it.
Yep.
Because you still, I mean, you still have doubts, and you kind of dispel those doubts. Every day you don't know what you're going to get,
Yeah,
and
right.
I've got 4 kids and a wife I've got to supply for, and so I have to succeed. It's not a choice. I must succeed.
Yeah.
So if it's not here, it's somewhere else. But I'm making this work, and so is Jared.
Right. And I mean, Jared, and speaking of, you said a wife or kids. I mean, has your family, believed? Are they finally believe in you now in terms of, when you start out something, everybody's looking at you like, geez, is this going to work? I mean, are they full 100% behind each of you?
I think, yes, I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Every once in a while, they say, Dad, did you close any deals? They'll ask me because they're bought in on it. I do think some of these larger deals are going to dispel any notion from here on out, but I'm not worried about myself, and I'm not worried about Jared. We're determined to make this succeed. But yeah, I mean, I think they're probably there. It's certainly going to help if 2023 is a really good year.
Yep.
Sure. Because I have plans. I want to build on. I want a new garage. I want this and that, and I'm not going to have those things unless I'm doing what I'm supposed to do here.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. And I take it you share the same sentiment, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my family supports me, whatever I do anyway. So it's great. And, there's always challenges, but especially starting a new venture, but yeah, it's been good. It's, everybody's on board. So, the better we do, the better everybody does. So it's good.
No, that is good. And now that you've been in this for almost 2 years, what would you say was your toughest deal to get done? Let's do that. Let's do best deal you did in terms of, maybe it's monetary. I don't know. I mean, if you had a worst deal and best deal, want to explain those 2 scenarios just so people can get an idea? Maybe the toughest deal you had to overcome some hurdles to get done.
Well, I'll start, Jared, if you don't mind, because I mentioned one already.
Yeah.
I mentioned one already with that broker. Okay, it wasn't a humongous money deal. It was a few $1,000s, which is good.
Sure.
The fact that I fought through and salvaged it, that was a huge victory because it's more business. What would make me extremely happy, quite frankly, I've already mentioned it, is those large balance deals going through. Right. I know, the one that I have, I'm literally waiting, and I can't wait to hear. That will, because you know what, Kris, that's going to set the precedent for the rest of them.
Right.
It will. I will have one of those under my belt, and now my confidence is going to be bigger, and my clients are going to be more willing to give me more deals, and it'll just kind of set the road straight.
Sure.
You
I get it. I get it. You can't count your eggs until they hatch, but
that's right.
Yeah, I hear you on that. What about for you?
Well, I tell you, one of the biggest challenges I'm having right now, I got a lot of people coming to me for cannabis stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of them are startups, so I'm looking for they need like either a private equity or joint venture partner to kind of join in. I do have some lenders that'll lend on cannabis, but not necessarily startups. So I'm right now out looking for a lot of private equity guys to kind of come in and take a piece of a cannabis project, so that way I can get them the rest of the funding they need, and kind of go from there. And it's I'm not a big the private equity side is not something that we really learn a lot about, so it's all kind of I'm getting into it myself right now, kind of learning a lot about it, and just just kind of getting in touch with some of these guys, family offices and that type of thing. It's a whole different world. So that's kind of where I'm going right now. And I got this one deal, actually, I'm still working on. It's not a cannabis deal, but it just won't go away. I go to a lender, it gets to a certain point, and then all of a sudden the lender backs out. You go find someone else, and there's just always an issue either on the borrower side or the lender side. And it's a small refinance deal, and it's just driving me crazy. But I'm not going to give up on it until I get it done. That's the problem. I'm too stupid to give up. So, but no, it's good. I mean, like I say, even with the private equity stuff, I've learned a lot just in the last few months, just trying to track down private equity sources for different things. I have a couple guys that they want a JV partner in a couple apartment complexes they're building, $60 million, $70 million deals. But you got to find the right partner to take a piece of that, and then the rest of the funding after the JV partner or the private equity guys in place is actually not that hard, for some of those deals. It's a matter of finding somebody that's going to pony up the initial money.
Sure. Sure. Well,
so that's kind of what I'm at.
Yeah, no, that's no, I mean, and like you said, you're seeing a lot of cannabis, startup cannabis.
Yeah.
My advice is just don't spend too much time. I don't want to.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally hear you. No, I get you.
Don't spend too much time on trying to beat some of the businesses out there.
I can go down some rabbit holes. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So.
I'm just curious. So, we're nearing kind of the end of this. I've been staring at it for the whole time. But what do you have written on that whiteboard? What's on there? I'm just curious.
So I have my clients and then what projects I'm working on. So I've got one client and the 3 properties and the amounts. I don't know if I want to say the amounts. Do you want me to say the amounts?
Hey, you say the amounts. I'm sure that's fine. You don't have to name the properties, but you can say the amounts. Sure, that's not gonna.
35 million, 116 million, 78 million, 400,000, 304,000. I've just got some follow-up stuff I've got to do on it too.
Okay.
Got some SBAs up there. I've got a couple of brokers that I'm working other smaller deals with. There's no dollar amounts, but they're just some stuff pending that I've got to kind of follow up on and see. Yep.
Okay.
So that's
all
what
right.
I have. And then I have another sign over here.
What's that say?
Everybody wants to eat. Few are willing to hunt.
That is so true. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And no signs for you, right? You just you got it all in your head.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, guys, listen. I really enjoy the time to kind of rekindle and see where you guys are at. And I wish you. I really do. I wish you. It sounds like you're at that cusp. You've closed deals. You're closing deals, but you're at that cusp to kind of hopefully take it to the next level.
Absolutely.
We're right there, Kris. We're right there.
Yeah, I hear you. Everybody's there at one point. Each level you climb, you're kind of right there, and you got to surpass that. So I have a good feeling with you guys for sure.
Thank you.
Really good feeling. Congrats to the building.
Thank you.
New building, and I wish you success in 2023.
It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year.
It is going to be a good year.
Yeah,
It will be. Yeah, it will be.
Is there anything you guys want to ask me before we go? I mean, I know we always do this thing, but it doesn't have to be a crazy question. But before I let you guys go,
I do have a question. Did you because you had that wonderful one-on-one interview with Sugar Ray? Did you do one?
No,
Damon.
we did not do one with Damon because it was a reported conflict of interest because he's already on some type of podcast.
Oh,
okay.
He's prohibited on doing one. But interestingly enough, what's interesting is since I spent a little bit of time with him prior to going on, we'd since texted back some phone. He gave me his phone number and I gave him mine, and we're looking to meet up. He wants to talk about some deals, believe it or not.
that's great.
So that's what I love about those things. It always comes out of just having a meeting or a speaker. We actually did a deal for Sugar Ray, which was interesting. Yeah, we did. So now, like with Damon, and he learned kind of what we do in terms of our whole group of companies. It really fascinated him, and we're looking to get together down in New York at some point.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Jared and I had the pleasure of being able to take a picture and meeting him, and I gave him my business card, so I expect a call pretty soon.
Hey, good luck.
See if he wants to get involved in any cannabis deals. I guess so.
The funny, what's funny is I'm the worst at text, meaning like people close to me and they'll text me and I just have a bad habit of texting back on time because I'll see a text come in and I'll say, yeah, I'll get to it. And then I forget about it. Right. And But he had texted me a day after, said, "Hey, thanks for inviting me up. When I'd like to schedule what time is convenient for you for a call." And I blew him off. I just for like a week and a half, literally, he texted me again, and he's like, "Hey, Kris, Damon here. I'm just wondering if I can get if you, me, and my CEO can get together." And I looked at it and I go, "Oh shit!" And I go, "Hey," I go, "Sorry."
That's a power move. That's a power move, my friend. That's
It wasn't designed that way, though. Honestly, it's just my bad habits of texting correspondence. But maybe he'll call you. Maybe he'll call your guys because he's like, "Wait a minute, this guy's not answering."
We'll take it. Hey, Kris, next time we have a podcast, I'm going to stand up like this. All right.
I love it. I love it. All right, no, that's
Your stomach's in the way of the camera.
Uh-oh. It's always in the way.
Oh God.
well, no, guys, it's always a pleasure. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good talking to you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good to
Kris.
see you too. It was great seeing you a month ago, and I guess we'll wrap it up from here, right? Yeah,
Sure.
into the new year. So,
Absolutely.
all right, everybody. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this episode for Entrepreneurs in Finance. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see the button there. Just click on it, and look forward to. We got a lot of nice interviews planned for 2023 coming up, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So, thanks, guys.
Sounds
Thanks,
good. Thanks, Kris.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, "Kris, how can I be a successful broker?" It's 2 words: hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.